Hey everyone, Virgil Texas here, and joining me today is
A temple to the squandering of human potential.
Oh, thanks for being here. It's a pleasure. We're surrounded by
and you've been running on the basis of your big, but I want to go back and start the conversation with your first book, Smart People, Smart People, Smart People, Smart People.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting about the book is, you make it personal and you talk a little about your big, but whereas someone like Pete Buttigieg wrote a book and spends the entire time talking about, I was exposed to these wonderful new butts and it sucked.
It did suck. And my life was probably, yeah. So as you know, political run was insane.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. But it does, your reflections do come. Your reflections do come. One thing that's interesting is that, you come explicitly, and this in part how you derive the thesis of the book. It sucked.
Yeah, it's funny, Virgil. So I remember I was appealing.
And necessary.
And necessary, though, as you could see from what I did next.
Father.
I guess I felt like, I shouldn't be constrained by my load. I used to call it my mistress because it was like constrained by my load. $1,100 a month.
I'm something of a deadbeat dad in that respect.
There are too many deadbeat dads in this country because this job sucks. Mm-hmm. Why am I doing it?
Everyone else is miserable. Father.
A temple to the squandering of human potential. Mm. And so I should quit. And so I quit after 5 months to start that flop,
and crashed and burned over the
next year plus.
And you also noted that just from observing your coworkers and your own progress at that job, you were only there for a few months, that it would have rewired your brain.
Yeah, it was going to be harder over time. I did not want to do this job forever. And harder, it was making me harder at the job every single day I was there. So if I must leave as soon as possible, because if I stay here too long, I'm going to become harder, burnt out version of fucking myself that can actually do this fucking job.
You followed your essential either have made or just want which was that, this sucks, and I'd rather just do what I want to do.
Persian looking
father.
Yeah, and again, I was somewhat callow, but I did say, the real danger here is being a shadow of myself, being someone I'd be ashamed to be myself. And that's the danger that most people become a toolbox if you hang out with toolboxes long enough.
So for you have wasted your potential. So therefore, you have
loans that did not go anywhere that I was excited to do. Most people look up to do. They would treat me like shit, would treat me as a temp worker. All of which is true, that I was excited to do. I was the leader of the company after the founder named me as successor. And so that was like a huge It's like a huge step up for and so many levels. Like I met my now wife during this time, dozens of people, and treating those people well was one of the great joys of my career up to that point. And so the goal for me was like, wow, more people could have this experience like I had, which was not a straightforward or easy one. That would be great, not just for them individually, that they could they were excited about with people they liked, but also be better for our society and economy, because you'd end up creating different types of and I was cocky, like a bomb went off in our house, how distinct that was, and that the rules of our economy had changed such that we're going to be shredding and shedding out these at much higher levels than we're creating them. Mm-hmm. And so that we need to evolve to like a totally different approach if we're going to give our human beings. I suppose like the big whole change I made is that You have to define our whole really by letting people pursue the things that they want to do that are actually driven by their needs and not the marketplace whole.
Who creates how are comps created in this economy? Young firms as opposed to old firms.
Young firms as opposed to old firms.
Mature
Various
stuff.
rents.
Yeah. And that was the data. I mean, the data was that 70-80% of growth in this country was produced by young firms, and that if you looked at mature firms, they would actually remain in equilibrium or balance. And so if you wanted creation in your community, you should look at young companies.